can certainly remove it. And then that would also give me the Robert's Rules space to say why you're removing it.
They will know the PO box. I looked this morning and they were already mailed out. All of them. That's okay, because I was gonna snag and then give them all.
You see the town administrator, he's a great phone, so.
I heard about that. The administrator calls the investigation. They got it.
But I counsel there.
But you can't do that.
Hang on, I'll be right back.
Good afternoon. I'm going to call this meeting to order. I guess it's right at 3 o'clock. We have item number 2, move right to new business. The approval of Resolution 25-12 to authorize the acceptance of a letter of conditions from the U.S. Department of Agriculture. This will also allow Town Administrator Jim Crossland to sign the letter on behalf of the town. The letter of conditions is the next step in allowing the town to accept $1,980,000 in directed spending from the federal government to construct a new town hall. Is there a motion?
So moved. Second.
Have been appropriately motioned and seconded. Jim?
Okay, Ms. Patty, they just read the approval and for the resolution. Do you want to go ahead and address council?
Okay, yes, great.
Go ahead.
Okay, so good evening. I'm Patty Walker with USDA Rural Development, and I'm here today to discuss the delivery of the letter of conditions and any questions that you may have. I understand that a copy of the letter of conditions has been provided to you, along with certain forms that need to be signed and executed today for the obligation. So I'm just going to hit the highlights, and you can ask questions as we go. This letter of conditions is for the obligation of a CDS grant in the amount of $1,980,000. And so today, we'll have you execute certain forms. Number 1, the letter of intent to meet conditions, and Form 1940-1, request for obligation of funds, and other applicable forms as submitted to your office. We have a project budget totaling $5,893,803.63, of which the Rural Development Grant is $1,980,000. This letter of conditions will require written approval to extend beyond 1 year. Although, as discussed with your office previously, we expect that the completion of the letter of conditions would take less than 60 to 90 days. But if the letter of conditions expires, if conditions have not been met within 1 year, you have to submit a written agreement or a written request asking for it to be extended. Also, a copy of the draft Form 3570-3 Community Facilities Grant Agreement has been provided for your review. Also, Form 400-4 Assurance Agreement and also 1940Q has also been provided and will need to be signed and executed today. On page 3 of the letter of conditions, under security requirements, please note that item 3B, prior to any disbursement of funds, a notice of federal interest must be recorded in the official real property records for jurisdiction where the facility will be located. So USDA Rural Development does have an interest in the facility due to grant funds. According to 2 CFR 200, 330. Item E, the grantee understands that it must submit regular reports on the status of the real property in which the federal government retains an interest. Starting with item number 5, where it talks about civil rights. Section 504 of the Rehabilitation Act of 1973, Civil Rights Act of 1964, the Americans with Disabilities Act of 1990, Age Discrimination Act of 1975, and also the Educational Amendments of 1972, Controlled Substances Act, and the Limited English Proficiency. There is a compliance statement that will also need to be signed and executed. I will work alongside your officials to complete a compliance review separate from this meeting today. Also, I'd like to call your attention to procurement. Item number 6, A, all procurement transactions connected to this project, regardless of whether by negotiations or by sealed bids, and without regard to dollar value, shall be conducted in a manner that provides maximum open and free competition. There's several written agreements that I will be working with your office to satisfy during this process. If we can skip over to section 11, where it talks about architectural and construction. Under item C, where it talks about the following must be reviewed and approved by rule development. All of those items have to do with construction, and we will have a separate construction meeting where all the requirements will be laid out. So unless you have a question about that, I'm going to keep going forward.
We're good.
Okay, good. Okay. And so that also covers the Build America, Buy America Act requirement. Then if you would skip over to section 2, you would note that the letter of conditions is divided into 3 sections. Section 1 has to do with the obligation. Section 2 has to do with items that need to be satisfied during construction. So it talks about the disbursement of funds, inspections, and monthly reporting. Those items will also be discussed at the construction conference, which would be a separate meeting from this meeting. Section 3 are items that have to be satisfied after the project completion. Basically, there are financial statements that would be required as outlined in 2 CFR Part 200, Subpart F, which establishes audit requirements and also requirements for grantees who expend $1 million or more in a federal award. And so I won't go over the other items for construction, but do you have any questions?
No questions, Ms. Patty.
Okay, I wanted to call attention to the grant agreement. The grant agreement was drafted, and that's not required to be signed today because we would need to include the start of the performance date and the end of the performance date. So that would be once the project is set out for bid and that we have a contract. Okay, so we'll finalize this agreement at that time. Okay, and so you understand what forms need to be executed today for the obligation of funds?
I do.
Okay, so if you have those forms signed and faxed over to me, we will also run the do not pay for the debarment and suspension on those names that you provided. And we should be able to get the funds obligated tonight.
Okay. Right after the meeting, I'll fax them over to you, or I'll scan them and send them to you.
Okay, great. And I know we also have a date scheduled for sometime in January, early January, to start going over the details of the letter of conditions so that we can move forward to the pre-construction conference.
Okay.
Okay?
We do.
All right. I will be here in the office until 4:30, so if you have any questions, please feel free to reach out to me.
Well, I'll call you right after the meeting, Ms. Patty.
Okay, great. Thank you so much.
Thank you.
Okay, bye-bye.
Bye.
Okay, so, any further discussion? We need to move this along. We'll get into details as time permits going forward. Everybody ready? Okay, Lisa, will you call the roll, please?
Mr. Ward?
Yes.
Mr. Penfield?
Yes.
Ms. Coleman?
Yes.
Dr. Waldman?
Yes.
Mayor Danielson?
Yes. All right. Thank you all. Item B, purchase authorization, Hustler Hyperdrive mower with 72-inch deck. Kind of redundance here. This will authorize a purchase in the amount of $18,323.94 from Hilton's Power Equipment. Is there a motion?
So moved.
Is there a second?
Second.
Any further discussion? Lisa, will you call the roll?
Mr. Ward?
Yes.
Mr. Penfield?
Yes.
Ms. Coleman?
Yes.
Dr. Waldman?
Yes.
Mayor Danielson?
Yes. At this time, I'll take a motion to adjourn.
So moved.
Is there a second?
Second.
All in favor, say aye. Aye. Any opposed?